There are monsters in the dark that do not stay where we believe they should stay, but instead they prowl through the silent, empty suburbs of the galaxies. We have always comforted ourselves with the assumption that the universe's greatest devourers are anchored firmly in the bright, chaotic centers of their island universes. We imagine the supermassive black holes as stationary kings sitting upon thrones of gravity, waiting for matter to spiral down into their open, predictable maws. But the universe is far stranger and more terrifying than our simple maps would suggest. For we have recently discovered that some of these beasts have broken their chains. They are not sitting in the crowded galactic cores where the feasting is easy, but they are wandering out here in the quiet dark where the stars are few. These are the rogue black holes, the silent roaming predators of the cosmos, drifting invisibly through the spaces between the stars like sharks gliding through deep black water. You would never see one coming until the very last moment, when the light of the stars behind it begins to twist and warp into impossible shapes. They are invisible wanderers, millions of times more massive than our sun, moving with a terrifying momentum that nothing in the universe can halt. They travel through the interstellar void without a sound, without a glint of light, cloaked in the perfect camouflage of their own event horizons. A star system could be drifting peacefully through the galactic outskirts, far from the dangerous radiation of the nucleus, believing itself safe in the quiet solitude of space. The planets would circle their sun in rhythmic harmony, bathed in the warmth of a stable yellow dwarf, unaware that a shadow is passing through their neighborhood. It is only when the gravity of the intruder begins to tug at the fabric of the solar system that the nightmare reveals itself to the unsuspecting world. The discovery that shattered our sense of safety came recently with a specific event that astronomers named AT 2024 TVD, a signal that arrived from the deep cosmos to tell us a story of destruction. It was a flash of light that appeared where no light had any business being, glowing brightly in the outer reaches of a distant galaxy. For decades, we have watched the centers of galaxies, knowing that when a star wanders too close to the supermassive black hole there, it screams in a flare of X-rays. But AT 2024 TVD was different, a baffling anomaly that forced us to rewrite our understanding of where the monsters are allowed to hunt. This flare of energy did not come from the crowded, bustling nucleus where the supermassive black hole is supposed to reside, ruling over its dense kingdom of stars. It came instead from a quiet, lonely region, an off-nuclear location nearly 2,600 light-years away from the center of the galaxy. It was as if we looked at a map of a city and saw a skyscraper collapsing not in the downtown core, but out in the silent, empty fields of the countryside. The astronomers who analyzed the light realized with a growing sense of awe that they were witnessing a tidal disruption event happening in the middle of nowhere. A star had been torn apart, shredded into a stream of superheated plasma, and devoured by a supermassive object that should not have been there. This was the smoking gun, the undeniable evidence that supermassive black holes can be ejected from their homes and sent wandering into the galactic wilderness. The event of 8/2024 TVD was the death cry of a star that had the misfortune of crossing paths with one of these exiled titans. It captures the imagination to think of that star, living out its long life in a quiet corner of the galaxy, completely unaware of the invisible nemesis approaching. The mechanics of such a death are both beautiful and horrifying, a process that physics refers to with the almost whimsical term of spaghettification. As the wandering predator draws near, its gravity does not pull on the star evenly, but pulls much harder on the side facing the black hole. The difference in gravitational force across the body of the star becomes so extreme that the star is stretched out into a long, thin filament of gas. The spherical shape that the star has maintained for billions of years is undone in a matter of days, unraveled like a ball of yarn pulled by a giant hand. The material of the star spirals inward, forming a temporary accretion disk around the invisible killer, heating up to millions of degrees as it falls. This is the moment the invisible becomes visible, as the dying breath of the star illuminates the silhouette of the monster that ate it. The light from this feeding frenzy travels across the vast distance of the universe, carrying the spectral signature of the tragedy to our telescopes. In the case of this 2025 discovery, the light showed the characteristics of a very specific kind of violence, a fast evolving transient that peaked and faded. It was a double-peaked emission in some wavelengths, a complex signature that told the story of debris streams colliding with themselves as they swirled down the drain. The energy released in those few weeks was greater than all the energy our sun will emit in its entire 10 billion year lifetime. All of that heat, all of that light was generated by the friction of the star's own blood as it was consumed by the silent wanderer. It is a reminder that the universe is not a static painting, but a dynamic and violent ocean where leviathans swim beneath the surface. We must pause to consider the sheer emptiness of the region where this event took place, a solitude that makes the sudden violence even more jarring. Usually, a supermassive black hole lives in a region crowded with stars, a dense stellar metropolis where collisions and interactions are common. But out at 2,600 light-years from the core, the stars are spread thin, separated by vast gulfs of vacuum and silence. For a black hole to find a meal out here is rare, a chance encounter in the limitless dark that defies the odds. It implies that the black hole must have been traveling for millions of years, starving and silent, before it finally stumbled upon this unlucky victim. How many stars did it pass in the dark, missing them by just a fraction of a light year, remaining essentially invisible to any potential observers? It is a chilling thought to realize that these objects are only visible when they are feeding, and for the rest of time, they are ghosts. The detection of AT 2024 TVD serves as a lighthouse, warning us that the dark waters of the galactic disk are not as empty as they seem. It suggests that there is a hidden population of these wandering black holes, objects that have been kicked out of their birthplaces. We are only seeing the ones that happen to eat, the ones that break their silence with a sudden flare of radiation. But for every one that we catch in the act of feeding, there must be many more that are drifting quietly, hungry and unseen. They are floating through the spiral arms of galaxies, perhaps even passing through the halos, moving on trajectories that were determined by violent gravitational dances long ago. The universe is crowded with hunger, and we are only just beginning to turn on the lights and see the predators standing in the room. The scientific implications of this off-center feeding event are profound, shaking the foundations of how we model the evolution of galaxies and their central engines. We used to think that if we saw a bright flare of X-rays and ultraviolet light, it had to be coming from the galactic center. Now we know that we must watch the whole sky, scanning the quiet suburbs and the lonely voids for the sudden flash of a disruption event. The existence of these recoil candidates challenges us to improve our simulations, to account for the physics of ejection and wandering. It forces us to ask how often this happens, and whether our own Milky Way might be hiding a few silent wanderers in its own outer reaches. The thought is not meant to cause panic, but to induce a deep, resonant awe at the complexity of the cosmos we inhabit. We are drifting through a universe where gravity is the ultimate sculptor, capable of flinging entire worlds into the dark or crushing them into singularities. The rogue black hole is the ultimate expression of this power, a gravitational entity that has been unmoored from its anchor. It carries with it the history of a galactic merger, a memory of a time when two galaxies collided and their central black holes fought for dominance. That is the origin story of these wanderers, a tale of cosmic violence that ends with one giant being kicked out into the cold. We will explore that violent origin deeply, but for now, we stay with the image of the silent hunter moving through the present. We stay with the feeling of the star that was AT 2024, TVD, the beacon that shone so brightly in its final moments of existence. It is strange to feel empathy for a ball of plasma, but in the narrative of the cosmos, the star is the protagonist that meets a tragic end. It was the sun that perhaps had its own retinue of cold planets, worlds that were instantly unbound when their parent star was shredded. Those planets would have been flung out into the galaxy as rogue planets, orphaned in the same moment that their sun was devoured. The destruction of one system becomes the birth of new wanderers, a cascade of chaos that ripples out from the event horizon. This is the way of the universe, a constant recycling of matter and energy, a cycle of birth and consumption that has no beginning and no end. The rogue black hole does not act out of malice, for there is no malice in the laws of physics, only the inevitable pull of mass. The silence of space is the perfect backdrop for this drama, a theater that absorbs every scream and every explosion without an echo. When we look up at the night sky, we see a tapestry of static points of light, a peaceful blanket of stars that seems unchanging. But if we could see gravity, if we could see the warping of space-time, the sky would look like a turbulent ocean. We would see the deep wells of black holes distorting the background, the ripples of gravitational waves passing through us. We would see the wandering paths of the recoil candidates, cutting lines through the galactic disk like scars on the face of the deep. The 2025 discovery of the AT 2024 TVD event has given us a pair of glasses to glimpse this hidden turmoil, if only for a fleeting moment. The flare itself was a messenger, carrying information about the mass and the spin of the object that caused the destruction. By analyzing the light, the fading curves of the ultraviolet and optical emission, we can weigh the invisible monster. We can determine that it is likely an intermediate mass black hole or a supermassive one, objects that range from thousands to millions of times the mass of the sun. To think of millions of suns compressed into a single point, wandering freely, is to confront the true scale of our own insignificance. We are small creatures living on a small rock, protected by the vast distances that separate us from these wandering titans. And yet, our minds can reach out across those distances, can reconstruct the crime scene of a star death 3 billion light-years away. The concept of the off-nuclear location is the key that unlocks this new chapter in our understanding of the dark cosmos. It tells us that the center is not the only place where the heavyweights reside, breaking the symmetry we love to impose on nature. Nature prefers chaos. It prefers the asymmetry of the recoil, the unpredictability of the three-body problem that ejects a massive object. The universe is messy, scattering its monsters like seeds in the wind, letting them take root wherever they happen to drift. This messiness is what allows for the surprise of discovery, for the sudden realization that we have been looking in the wrong places. We have been staring at the streetlights, assuming that is where the action is, while the real drama unfolds in the unlit alleyways between. As we drift deeper into this realization, we must let go of the idea of the galaxy as a well-ordered machine with a single heart. It is more like a biological entity, a complex system that can bleed, that can lose parts of itself, that can have foreign bodies moving within it. The rogue black hole is a parasite of sorts, or perhaps a white blood cell, moving through the galactic body and consuming what it touches. It is a part of the galaxy and yet separate from it, unbound by the orbital mechanics that keep the billions of other stars in line. It follows its own path, a geodesic curve through space-time that is dictated only by its own momentum and the curvature of the void. There is a freedom in that, a terrifying liberty to go where it pleases, ignoring the collective rotation of the galaxy. The light of AT 2024 TVD has faded now, dimming back into the obscurity of the deep universe, leaving only the data behind. The accretion disk has cooled, the material has fallen in or been blown away, and the black hole has returned to its natural state of invisibility. It is dark again, drifting on, perhaps slightly heavier than it was before, carrying the mass of a dead star in its belly. It will continue its journey through the intergalactic night, perhaps for billions of years more, before it encounters another meal. It is a patient hunter, one that does not need to rush, for it has all of time to wait for the next crossing. In the vast scales of cosmic time, a billion years is just a breath, a momentary pause between the courses of a meal. We can imagine the view from a planet orbiting a nearby star, looking up into the sky where the event took place. For a few weeks, a new star would have appeared in their heavens, a brilliant point of light that outshone the rest of the galaxy. They might have created myths about it, telling stories of a god that opened an eye to watch them, or a demon that came to feed. And then, as the light faded, they would have wondered why the god closed its eye, returning their world to the status quo. They would never know that they were witnessing the shredding of a sun, a cataclysm that happened at a safe distance from their own fragile biosphere. We are the privileged observers, the ones who have the tools to understand the mechanics behind the myth. The detection of such events relies on the vigilance of our automated surveys, the robotic telescopes that scan the sky every night. They look for the things that change, the transients that blink into existence and then vanish, signaling a disruption in the dark. As we build better eyes, like the Vera Rubin Observatory and the future LISA mission for gravitational waves, we will find more of them, we will uncover the hidden population of wanderers, mapping their trajectories and understanding their demographics. We are entering a golden age of black hole archaeology, digging up the fossils of dead stars to find the footprints of the predators. But with every answer comes a deeper mystery, a widening of the horizon that reveals how much we still do not know. The feeling of spaghettification, if one could experience it without dying, would be a sensation of infinite stretching, a falling that never ends. It is the ultimate surrender to gravity, the point where the forces of the universe overcome the forces of molecular cohesion. The star, held together by its own gravity and the pressure of its nuclear fusion, is simply overpowered by the tidal force. It is a violent unmaking, a reversal of the process of star formation, returning organized matter to chaotic plasma. In the context of the rogue black hole, this unmaking happens in the silence of the void, a private apocalypse. There is something profoundly lonely about a star dying alone in the gap between the spiral arms, far from the company of the cluster. But the universe does not mourn. It only transforms, moving energy from one state to another in a ceaseless dance. The energy released by the accretion flare travels out, heating the surrounding gas, perhaps triggering the formation of new stars nearby. Even in destruction, there is creation, a ripple effect that shapes the evolution of the galaxy in subtle ways. The rogue black hole, in its wandering, acts as a mixer, stirring the galactic pot and redistributing angular momentum. It is an agent of change, a dark catalyst that alters the destiny of the regions it passes through. We are learning to see these objects not just as monsters, but as essential components of the cosmic ecosystem. The mystery of AT2024 TVD is also a mystery of origin, leading us to ask where this wanderer came from and how it was set loose. It forces us to look backward in time, to rewind the tape of the galaxy's history, to find the moment of ejection. Was it a violent, three-way dance between three black holes that ended with one being flung out? Or was it a merger of two galaxies where the gravitational waves kicked the resulting black hole away? The clues are written in the speed and the trajectory of the object, hidden in the subtle details of the light we captured. We are detectives arriving at the scene billions of years late, trying to reconstruct the breakout from the scattered debris. As we contemplate the rogue black hole, we are also contemplating the nature of isolation, of being an entity disconnected from the whole. Most things in the universe belong to a system, a family of objects bound by gravity and shared history. But the rogue is an orphan, a solitary traveler that has severed its ties with the galactic center. It is a testament to the violence that can occur even on the larger scales, the celestial billiards that send worlds careening off the table. There is a heavy, somber beauty in that isolation, a grandeur in the idea of a king in exile wandering the desert. It resonates with something deep in the human psyche, the fear and the fascination of being truly alone in the dark. The light of the flare is the only language these objects speak, a brief monologue in a lifetime of silence. We have learned to translate this language, to read the spectra and understand the chemical composition of the star that was eaten. We see the lines of hydrogen and helium, the fingerprints of the elements that make up the universe, smeared out by the Doppler shift of extreme speed. It is a message sent across the void, telling us, I am here and I am hungry. And though the message takes billions of years to reach us, it arrives with an urgency that commands our attention. It reminds us that the sky is not a painted ceiling, but a window into a deep and dangerous reality. We drift now, in our minds, alongside this invisible wanderer, feeling the cold of the intergalactic medium against the event horizon. There is no wind here, no sound, only the silent pressure of radiation and the faint tug of distant galaxies. The black hole is a perfect sphere of nothingness, a hole in the fabric of reality that bends the light of the stars behind it. It is a lens, magnifying the background universe, distorting the view for anyone who might be watching from behind. To travel with it is to travel in a bubble of distorted time, where the ticking of the clock slows down to a crawl. It is a journey into the forever, a drift that will outlast the stars themselves. This is the reality of the roaming predators, the rogue black holes that are silently shredding stars in the quiet corners of the cosmos. The discovery of AT 2024 TVD is just the beginning, the first note in a symphony of dark discoveries that will unfold in the coming years. We are waking up to a universe that is fuller, stranger, and more dynamic than we ever dared to dream. The dark is not empty. It is crowded with heavy, silent things that move with purpose. And as we gaze into that darkness, we can feel the pull of the unknown, the gravity of the questions that have yet to be answered. We must now turn our minds to the violence that birthed these wanderers, to the colossal forces required to unseat a king. For a supermassive black hole does not simply decide to leave the galactic center. It must be forced, pushed by a power that shakes the very fabric of space-time. The story of their exile is a story of galactic collisions, of entire universes crashing together in a slow-motion catastrophe. It is in these mergers that the seeds of the rogue population are sown, where the gravitational waves ripple out like tsunamis. We need to understand the kick, the recoil, the immense burst of energy that sends a billion solar masses flying into the void. We move now from the violent origins of the exile to the silent, terrifying intimacy of the encounter itself. Imagine you are drifting alongside that doomed star, floating in the quiet suspension of the galactic outer rim. The space here is vast and lonely, a cathedral of silence where the stars are separated by light years of empty, freezing vacuum. The star is an ordinary sun, burning with a steady, yellow warmth, holding its family of planets in a comfortable, rhythmic embrace. It has traveled through the galaxy for billions of years, unbothered and safe, a small island of order in the chaotic ocean. But it has now drifted into a region of space that belongs to a ghost, a sector where the gravity maps are wrong. There is no warning siren in space, no ripple in the water to suggest that a predator is swimming just beneath the surface. The star simply continues its orbital path, moving closer to a point of no return that has been waiting for eons. It begins not with an explosion, but with a subtle, insidious stretching that the star feels in its very core. The gravity of the approaching invisible object is so intense that it pulls on the front of the star harder than the back. It is a tidal force, similar to the moon pulling the oceans, but amplified to a magnitude that defies all human comprehension. The sphere of the sun, which has held its perfect shape against the crushing darkness for an eternity, begins to distort. It elongates into an egg shape, a silent deformation that signals the breaking of the hydrostatic equilibrium that kept it alive. The planets, if they are still watching, would see their sun warping in the sky, turning into a terrifying, unfamiliar oval. This is the first gentle touch of the monster, the rogue black hole introducing itself to its victim with a gravitational caress. The process accelerates with a terrifying smoothness, a fluid transition from a solid object into a stream of flowing plasma. We call this spaghettification, a word that sounds almost comical until you visualize the absolute devastation it represents for a world. The star is being unraveled, its layers peeled back like the skin of a fruit to reveal the burning nuclear heart within. A long, glowing river of gas begins to stream away from the star, curving through the dark in a beautiful, tragic arc. It is a surrender of mass, the star giving up its substance to the superior will of the singularity that waits in the shadows. The gas does not fall straight in, but spirals, caught in the immense rotation of the black hole's gravity well. As the material swirls closer, it moves faster and faster, approaching a significant fraction of the speed of light. The friction between the layers of gas becomes unimaginable, generating temperatures that climb into the millions of degrees in a matter of days. The invisible point in space suddenly ignites, not with its own light, but with the stolen brilliance of the dying star. This is the accretion flare, a beacon of X-rays and ultraviolet light that screams out across the silent universe. It is the death rattle of a solar system, converted into pure energy and beamed into the eyes of distant astronomers. In the emptiness of the galactic suburbs, this sudden lighthouse is blindingly bright, casting hard shadows on any nearby dust clouds. It creates a temporary disk of fire, a swirling donut of superheated plasma that traces the event horizon of the killer. The black hole, which was a ghost only moments ago, is now silhouetted against the fury of the meal it is consuming. We see the shadow of the beast, the sphere of absolute darkness that sits at the center of the radiant storm. It is a paradox of nature that the darkest object in the universe can create the brightest event in the galaxy. The energy released in these few weeks of feeding can outshine the combined light of every other star in the host galaxy. It is a violent, messy, chaotic feast, a spectacle of destruction that highlights the raw power hidden in the vacuum. But we must return to the strangeness of where this is happening, for the location is just as haunting as the event. We are 2,600 light-years away from the galactic center, far from the crowded downtown where such violence is expected. In the core, stars are packed together like commuters on a train, and collisions or disruptions are a hazard of the environment. But out here, in the quiet spiral arms or the lonely halo, a star should be able to live forever in peace. The discovery of this event in such a remote location creates a deep, unsettling dissonance in our understanding of cosmic geography. It is like finding a shipwreck in the middle of a dry desert, a disaster that has no business happening in this landscape. The off-nuclear location implies that the monster traveled a vast distance to get here, moving silently through the dark for millions of years. It suggests that the black hole is a wanderer, an exile that has been roaming the galaxy like a shark patrolling the open ocean. How long did it drift through the emptiness, passing nothing but dust and cold gas, before it finally snagged this unlucky star? The patience of such an object is infinite. It does not need to eat to survive, it only needs to exist. It carries its hunger with it, a latent potential for violence that only activates when something foolishly crosses its path. The emptiness of the surrounding space makes the sudden flash of the accretion flare even more dramatic and terrifying. There is a profound isolation in this scenario, a sense of a crime committed where there are no witnesses to intervene. The star dies alone, far from the gravitational bustling of the cluster, its screams absorbed by the immense indifference of the void. And yet, because of the brightness of the flare, the event becomes the most visible thing in the galaxy for a brief moment. We watch it from Earth, 300 million light-years away, and we marvel at the physics while forgetting the tragedy. We calculate the mass of the black hole and the density of the star, turning the destruction into data points. But if we close our eyes, we can feel the silent horror of that system, the sudden end of a billion-year story. The mechanics of the tidal disruption are governed by the Roche limit, the invisible boundary where gravity overcomes the star's own self-gravity. Once the star crosses this line, there is no turning back. Its fate is sealed by the rigid laws of general relativity. The front of the star falls faster than the back, stretching the gas into a thin stream that wraps around the black hole. Roughly half of the star's mass is ejected back out into space, flung away as a long tail of cooling gas. The other half is doomed to fall inward, to join the accretion disk and eventually cross the event horizon. It is a messy eater, this rogue black hole, scattering crumbs of plasma across the vicinity as it devours the main course. This debris creates a chaotic environment around the black hole, a turbulent cloud of gas that blocks and scatters the light. The double-peaked emission lines we see in the spectrum tell us of this rotating disk, of matter moving towards us and away. It is a signature of the violence, a fingerprint that identifies the culprit, even though we can never see the black hole itself. The light flickers and fades as the supply of gas is exhausted, the meal ending almost as quickly as it began. The black hole does not bloat or linger. It simply swallows what it can and returns to its dormant state. The darkness rushes back in to fill the space where the star used to be, sealing the wound in the sky. The realization that this is happening 2,600 light-years from the center forces us to rethink the safety of the galactic disk. We used to map the danger zones as small circles around the core, marking the rest of the galaxy as safe. Now we know that the danger zones are mobile, that they can be anywhere, drifting along unseen trajectories through the quiet neighborhoods. The rogue black hole is a hidden variable in the equation of galactic evolution, a wildcard that can strike anywhere. It transforms the galaxy from a static map into a dynamic, dangerous terrain where the ground itself can open up. It adds a layer of suspense to our observation of the heavens, a knowledge that the dark patches are not empty. Imagine the view from a planet orbiting a neighboring star, light years away, but close enough to see the new point of light. They would see a sudden star appear in a constellation that had been unchanged for generations, a brilliant intruder in the familiar patterns. It would burn with a cold, blue-white intensity, perhaps visible even during the day, a second sun that offers no warmth. And then, after a few months, it would fade away, leaving the constellation empty again, a mystery for their astronomers to ponder. They would not know that a rogue monster had just passed through their sector, missing their own system by a cosmic hair's breadth. We are all drifting through a minefield, oblivious to the proximity of the triggers, until one of them is finally tripped. The spaghettification process is not instant. It takes hours or days for the star to fully unravel into the stream. During that time, the star is still alive, still fusing hydrogen, but it is being tortured by the differential gravity. The core of the star is compressed and heated before it is finally ripped open, a last gasp of nuclear fire. The magnetic fields of the star are twisted and snapped, releasing bursts of energy that add to the chaotic flare. It is a total systemic failure of the celestial body, a complete dismantling of the structure that defined it. To witness it up close would be to see the fluid dynamics of the universe in their most extreme violent form. The light from the accretion disk is so intense that it can ionize the gas in the surrounding interstellar medium. It creates a ghost echo, a sphere of glowing gas that lights up light years away from the actual event. This light echo allows us to see the structure of the environment, illuminating the dust and gas that was previously invisible. The black hole, in its moment of feeding, acts as a flashbulb, taking a picture of its surroundings for us to analyze. We can see the emptiness of the off-nuclear region, the lack of other stars, the cold solitude of the void. It confirms that this monster is indeed far from home, hunting in the desolate plains of the galaxy. The stream of debris that escapes, the half of the star that is not eaten, carries the momentum of the encounter. It flies off into the galaxy, a ribbon of gas that will eventually cool and perhaps collapse to form new stars. In this way, the death of the old star contributes to the birth of the new, a recycling process driven by the black hole. The rogue predator is not just a destroyer, it is a gardener, pruning the old growth and scattering the seeds for the future. But this is a cold comfort to the star that was shredded, a philosophical silver lining to a physical catastrophe. The immediate reality is one of fire and shearing forces, a nightmare of gravity that tears the atoms apart. The 2600 light-year distance is a specific number that haunts the data, a coordinate that defines the anomaly. It places the event squarely in the disk, but far from the gravitational influence of the central supermassive black hole. It proves that there are multiple mechanisms for creating these monsters, or at least for moving them around. It hints at a history of gravitational kicks, of interactions that sent this black hole flying out of the nest. The off-nuclear location is the smoking gun of a recoil event, a fingerprint left by a galactic merger billions of years ago. It connects the solitary death of this star to the grand, slow-motion collisions of entire galaxies. We can feel the texture of the accretion disk, the viscosity of the plasma as it grinds against itself, spiraling down. The magnetic fields channel some of the material into jets, beams of particles that shoot out at the speed of light. These jets drill through the interstellar medium, clearing a path and announcing the presence of the black hole to the radio universe. The flare is a multi-sensory event, visible in X-rays, ultraviolet, visible light, and radio waves, a full spectrum scream. It creates a bubble of radiation that expands outward, sterilizing any planets that might be unlucky enough to be nearby. It is a localized apocalypse, a sphere of influence where life is impossible and physics is pushed to the limit. The silence returns quickly once the final scraps of the star have fallen in or been blown away. The accretion disk fades, the jets sputter and die, and the event horizon becomes a perfect, featureless black sphere again. The rogue black hole continues its motion, carrying the mass of the dead star, slightly heavier and slightly slower than before. It slips back into the camouflage of the void, vanishing from our telescopes as if it had never been there. The only evidence that remains is the expanding shell of light and the missing star in the catalogue. The monster has fed, and now it returns to its slumber, drifting on towards its next chance encounter. This cycle of waking and sleeping is the life of a rogue black hole, a rhythm measured in millions of years. For the vast majority of its existence, it is dormant, a dark knot in the fabric of space-time that emits no light. It passes through the galaxy like a phantom, its gravity tugging gently on distant stars, but never enough to cause a scene. It is only when it scores a direct hit, like the event AT 2024 TVD, that it reveals its terrifying nature. We are left to wonder, how many others are out there, currently in the dormant phase, passing silently through the dark? The universe is full of these sleeping giants, invisible predators that prowl the spaces between the stars. The mechanics of the flare give us a window into the extreme gravity of the black hole, allowing us to test Einstein's theories. We watch how the light is bent and redshifted as it struggles to escape the deep gravitational well. We see the time dilation, the slowing of clocks near the event horizon, imprinted in the light curves of the flare. The death of the star becomes a laboratory for general relativity, a natural experiment arranged by the cosmos. But we must never lose sight of the feeling, the sheer awe of a sun being unmade. It is a reminder that the structures we think are permanent, stars, planets, solar systems, are fragile in the face of true gravity. The off-nuclear surprise forces us to widen our gaze, to scan the boring parts of the sky with renewed interest. We can no longer afford to focus only on the bright centers. We must watch the shadows, the empty spaces. The rogue black holes are the dark matter of the monster world, the hidden population that shapes the galaxy from the shadows. They are the wolves in the forest, unseen but ever present, defining the boundaries of safety for the flock. The star that died at 2,600 light-years was a scout, a victim that illuminated the danger for the rest of us. It showed us that the forest is deeper and darker than we thought, and that the wolves are roaming far from their dens. As we drift away from the scene of the crime, the light of the flare receding into the distance, we are left with the silence. The silence of the void is heavy, a physical weight that presses against the mind, filled with the knowledge of what is out there. The universe is not a safe harbor. It is a vast, open ocean where storms can strike without warning. The rogue black hole is the rogue wave, the anomaly that rises up from the calm water to swallow a ship. It is a part of the natural order, a terrifying but essential element of the cosmic machine. And as we float in the lingering darkness, we can feel the pull of that machine, the slow, rhythmic turning of the galaxy. The debris from the star will drift for eons, expanding into a nebula that might one day collapse to form a new system. The atoms that were once part of a sun will become part of a planet, perhaps even part of a living thing. In this way, the destruction is not final. It is a transformation, a reshuffling of the cosmic deck. But the black hole remains, a singular point of hunger that can never be filled, a hole that leads nowhere. It travels on, a dark pilgrim on an endless journey, seeking the next spark of light to extinguish. It is the shadow that walks, the silence that eats, the roaming predator of the eternal night. We let the image of the shredding star fade from our minds, replacing it with the velvet blackness of the undisturbed vacuum. The drama of the event is over, replaced by the long, slow wait for the next one. The galaxy is vast, and the chances of collision are small. But time is the one luxury the universe has in abundance. Given enough time, every star will roll the dice. Every system will brush against the dark. We are just lucky to be watching from the audience, safe in our own quiet corner of the spiral arm. For now, the monsters are far away, drifting through the deep, dreaming their dark dreams. But the question remains, lingering like a ghost in the back of our minds as we stare into the star field. If this one was here, 2,600 light years from home, where did it come from? What force was strong enough to kick a supermassive object out of its throne and send it wandering? The physics of the ejection are as violent as the feeding, a clash of titans that shakes the very pillars of the galaxy. We must understand the origin of the exile, the cosmic divorce that created the rogue. It is a story of mergers and recoils, of gravitational waves that ring like bells, of a kick so powerful it defies belief. The wandering predator has a history, a secret past written in the geometry of its trajectory. We turn our attention now to the past, to the violent epoch that set these hunters loose upon the galaxy. We look for the scars of the merger, the distorted shape of the host galaxy that betrays a collision long ago. The rogue black hole is a refugee from a war between galaxies, a survivor of a celestial smash-up. To understand why it is here, shredding stars in the silence, we must understand the chaos that birthed it. We must go back to the moment of the kick, the instant when gravity pushed back. We travel backward through the deep history of the cosmos to find the violent moment of separation. The rogue black hole is not born from nothing, but is the child of a colossal union. It begins when two galaxies, drifting through the expanding universe, are drawn together by their mutual gravitational attraction. They are island universes composed of billions of stars, swirling in the dark like great luminous hurricanes. As they approach one another, the silence of the intergalactic void is broken by the distortion of their shapes. The gravity of each galaxy pulls at the stars of the other, stretching them into long tidal tails. It is a slow-motion dance of destruction that plays out over hundreds of millions of years of time. The stars themselves rarely collide during this merger, for the spaces between them are vast and empty. They simply pass one another like ghosts in the night, finding new orbits in the chaotic, combined potential. But the monsters at the centers of these galaxies, the supermassive black holes, are destined to meet. They sink toward the bottom of the gravitational well, drawn inexorably to the center of the new ruin. Friction with the surrounding gas and stars robs them of their orbital energy, bringing them closer together. They form a binary pair, two giants circling each other in a tightening spiral of doom. It is here, in the final stages of this cosmic waltz, that the seeds of exile are sown. As the two black holes orbit, they churn the fabric of space-time, generating ripples of gravitational waves. These waves carry energy away from the binary, causing the orbit to shrink faster and faster. The black holes whirl around each other at a significant fraction of the speed of light. The space around them is twisted and dragged, a chaotic storm of geometry that defies human intuition. And then, in a fraction of a second, the two event horizons touch and merge into one. This merger is the most violent event in the universe since the Big Bang itself. The energy released in that single moment of coalescence is greater than the light of all stars combined. But it is a dark energy, invisible to the eye, rippling out as distortion in the texture of space. If the two black holes were unequal in mass, or if they were spinning in different directions, the emission is asymmetrical. The gravitational waves shoot out more strongly in one direction, like the exhaust of a rocket engine. And because for every action there is an equal and opposite reaction, the new black hole recoils. It is kicked in the opposite direction, launched by the very force of its own violent birth. This is the recoil kick, a propulsion mechanism that operates on the scale of millions of solar masses. The new single black hole is shoved with a force that can reach thousands of kilometers per second. It is a staggering speed, enough to break the gravitational hold of the host galaxy completely. The king is thrown from its throne, ejected from the center where it was meant to rule. It flies out through the chaos of the merging galaxies, punching a hole through the gas and stars. The magnitude of this kick depends on the precise alignment of the spins and masses of the parents. In some cases, the kick is gentle, merely displacing the black hole from the center for a time. It might oscillate back and forth, sloshing through the core like a marble in a bowl. But in the extreme cases, the kick is violent enough to banish the black hole forever. It achieves escape velocity, leaving the galaxy behind to drift eternally in the intergalactic void. These are the true rogues, the ones that will never return to the warmth of a stellar cluster. We must pause to feel the weight of this event, the sheer scale of the displacement that occurs. A darker, heavier object than a million suns is treated like a pebble flicked by a giant. It moves silently through the galaxy's suburbs, passing the regions where life might be struggling to evolve. It carries with it the accretion disk from the merger, a glowing crown that fades as it travels. For a few million years, it might shine as a displaced quasar, a beacon marking its exit. But eventually, the fuel runs out, the light dies, and the object becomes a shadow again. This mechanism explains the off-nuclear location of the events we are now detecting with our telescopes. The black hole is caught in transit, frozen in our snapshot of time as it wanders through the disk. It might be on its way out, or it might be on a long, looping orbit returning in. The galaxy is a dynamic, shifting place, and the center is not always where the mass is. We are learning that the center is just a temporary address for these restless, heavy titans. The discovery of the recoil effect adds a layer of kinetic tragedy to the lives of these objects. If we look at the universe with this knowledge, every galaxy becomes a potential launchpad for rogue black holes. Mergers are common in the history of the cosmos. They are the primary way that galaxies grow. Our own Milky Way has merged with smaller galaxies in the past and will merge with Andromeda in the future. Each of these events had the potential to create a recoil, to send a black hole wandering. This implies that there is a hidden population of these objects, a legion of silent ghosts. They are out there, drifting through the halo, invisible to our eyes, until they find something to eat. The estimates of this hidden population are staggering, suggesting that there could be dozens in a single galaxy. For every supermassive black hole sitting comfortably in the center, there might be wanderers in the outskirts. They are the lost siblings, the products of past mergers that ended in a violent ejection. Some might be smaller, the intermediate mass black holes that never got the chance to grow to full size. They are the middle children of the cosmos, too heavy to be stars, too light to be quasars. They float in the dark, waiting for a chance encounter that might never come. The emptiness of space is their camouflage, a vast ocean where a single shark can hide forever. Unless they pass through a cloud of gas or tear a star apart, they emit no light. They are detected only by their gravity, by the way they bend the light of background galaxies, or, as we have seen, by the sudden flare of a tidal disruption event that reveals their location. It is a sobering thought that the empty spaces on our star maps might not be empty. They might be occupied by objects of immense mass, passing silently through the night. We can imagine the path of such a wanderer, a trajectory that takes it far above the galactic plane. From that height, the galaxy would look like a grand spiral of light, a spinning firework. The black hole would see the structure of the spiral arms, the glowing knots of star formation. It would look down on the world it was exiled from, a silent observer in the cold attic. The view would be breathtaking, a panoramic perspective of the island universe suspended in the dark. But there is no one there to see it, only the event horizon and the silence. The physics of the recoil kick are governed by the complex equations of general relativity, the language of gravity. The asymmetry of the gravitational waves is a subtle effect, but it has massive consequences. It is a reminder that space is not a passive stage, but an active participant in the drama. Space itself pushes the black hole, reacting to the distortion with a violent shove. It is a conversation between matter and geometry, a dialogue that ends with an eviction. The black hole is a victim of its own power, of the extreme forces it generates during the merger. There is a deep irony in the fact that the merger, which is meant to combine two galaxies, creates isolation. The two central black holes come together to unite, but the physics of their union drives them apart. One remains, perhaps, or both are ejected, leaving the new galaxy with an empty heart. A galaxy without a central black hole is a strange beast, a body without a soul. It might wander the universe, a collection of stars orbiting a center of gravity that holds nothing. These hollow galaxies are the counterparts to the rogue black holes, the empty nests left behind. The hidden population is not just a curiosity. It is a significant fraction of the mass of the universe. If we could weigh all the rogue black holes, the number would be substantial. They are a reservoir of dark baryons, of matter that has been locked away in the dark. They contribute to the gravitational web of the cosmos, helping to shape the flow of galaxies. They are the unseen influencers, the silent partners in the evolution of the large-scale structure. To ignore them is to miss a crucial piece of the puzzle of how the universe works. We drift through the halo of our own galaxy, wondering if one of these objects is nearby. The halo is a spherical cloud of old stars and dark matter that surrounds the main disk. It is a graveyard of ancient collisions, littered with the debris of smaller galaxies we have consumed. It is the perfect hunting ground for a rogue black hole, a place where it can hide among the shadows. The distances here are even greater than in the disk, the isolation more profound. A star in the halo might travel for billions of years without ever seeing another sun. The recoil velocity can be so high that the black hole crosses the entire galaxy in a few million years. It is a bullet fired through a cloud of smoke, piercing the structure without slowing down. It might punch through the disk, disrupting the orbits of stars as it passes. These localized disturbances could be the only sign of its passage, a wake left in the stellar ocean. Astronomers look for these trails, for the subtle kinematic fingerprints of a passing massive object. It is like tracking a submarine by the ripples on the surface of the water. The concept of a hidden population taps into our primal fear of the unknown, of what lurks in the dark. We are comfortable with the visible universe, with the things we can point to and name. But the rogue black holes represent the invisible universe, the things that exist beyond our senses. They are a reminder that our vision is limited, that we only see the tip of the iceberg. The universe is mostly dark, mostly cold, and mostly hidden from our prying eyes. We are like children playing in a sandbox, unaware of the vast, wild forest that surrounds us. The gravitational waves that launch these black holes are ripples in the very substance of reality. They stretch and squeeze space itself, passing through matter as if it were not there. When they passed through the Earth from distant mergers, they moved every atom in your body a tiny fraction. You did not feel it, but for a moment, you were part of the cosmic dance. The recoil kick is the source of these waves, the epicenter of the distortion. It connects the silent drift of the rogue black hole to the subtle vibration of your own existence. We can visualize the moment of the kick as a silent explosion, a sudden lurch in the dark. One moment, the black hole is spinning at the center of the merger. The next, it is flying. It carries its event horizon with it, the bubble of trapped light and frozen time. Inside that horizon, the laws of physics as we know them break down into singularity. It is a pocket of mystery moving through the mundane vacuum, a sealed letter from the edge of understanding. We can never open the letter, never see what lies inside the sphere of darkness. The wandering trajectory is chaotic, determined by the gravity of the galaxy it is leaving. It might swing past a globular cluster, disrupting the tight orbits of the ancient stars. It might pull a cloud of gas along with it, a ragged cloak to cover its nakedness. Or it might travel cleanly, a perfect, solitary object moving through the perfection of space. The path is a long, lonely curve that stretches out into the future, perhaps forever. There is a melancholy beauty in that solitude, a sense of eternal, drifting peace. But the peace is broken when the wanderer encounters a star, as we saw in the previous chapter. The hidden population becomes visible, if only for a fleeting moment of destruction. These events are the lighthouses that tell us where the shoals are hidden in the dark water. Each flare is a data point, a pin on the map of the hidden population. As we collect more pins, the shape of the invisible galaxy begins to emerge. We start to see the distribution of the rogues, the places where they tend to congregate. The simulations we run on our supercomputers show us the probable locations of these lost objects. They suggest that the halo is teeming with them, that the intergalactic space is crossed by their paths. We are surrounded by a web of trajectories, a complex traffic system of invisible heavyweights. It changes our perception of the night sky, making it feel thicker, more crowded. The emptiness is an illusion, a trick of the light that hides the true density of the cosmos. The dark is not empty. It is full of potential, full of mass, full of waiting. We must also consider the intermediate mass black holes, the smaller cousins of the supermassive ones. They are thought to form in dense star clusters, where runaway collisions create a heavy seed. These clusters often evaporate or are torn apart, releasing their black holes into the galaxy. This adds another layer to the hidden population, a swarm of smaller, more numerous wanderers. They are harder to detect, their accretion flares dimmer and shorter, but they are there. They drift through the spiral arms like naval mines, waiting for a ship to strike. The scale of the hidden population challenges our definition of what a galaxy actually is. Is it just the visible stars, or is it the sum of all the mass, visible and invisible? The rogue black holes are a part of the galaxy's bones, the unseen skeleton that holds it together. They contribute to the dark matter halo, the gravitational glue that keeps the stars from flying away. In a sense, they are the guardians of the galaxy, the silent watchers in the deep. They patrol the borders, marking the edge of the system with their unseen presence. The recoil kick can sometimes be directed inward, sending the black hole plunging back into the dense center. These returning wanderers can cause havoc in the core, disrupting the orbits of the stars there. They might sink back to the center and merge with a new black hole, starting the cycle again. Or they might be kicked out a second time, a cosmic game of ping pong played with 1 billion suns. The history of a single black hole can be a complex odyssey of ejection and return. It is a story of gravitational restlessness, of a refusal to stay in one place. As we ponder the hidden population, we feel a sense of vertigo, a dizziness at the sheer numbers. If there are thousands of rogue black holes in the Milky Way, are we safe? The odds of a direct encounter with the solar system are infinitesimally small, a comfort in the vastness. But the possibility exists, a non-zero chance that one day the dark will come for us. It is a statistical ghost story, a fear born of mathematics and the laws of probability. It keeps the astronomers awake at night, calculating the orbits, refining the error bars. The silence of these objects is their most defining feature, the quality that makes them so hypnotic. They do not roar or burn, they simply exist, massive and indifferent to the world around them. They are the ultimate introverts of the universe, withdrawing from the light to live in the shadows. And yet, their gravity reaches out, a long, invisible arm that touches everything. They are connected to the rest of the universe by the curvature of space, by the web of geometry. They are apart, but they are never truly separate from the whole. We can imagine a future where we have mapped the hidden population, where we know where they are. We would look at the sky and see the danger zones, the red circles where the rogues are passing. It would change the way we navigate the stars, the way we plan our interstellar journeys. We would steer our ships around the invisible reefs, avoiding the gravity wells that lead to nowhere. But for now, we sail in ignorance, trusting in the emptiness to keep us safe. We drift through the fog, listening for the sound of breakers, hoping for the best. The recoil kick is a testament to the power of waves, of the ripples that carry energy through the void. It shows us that space is stiff, that it resists the motion of heavy objects. To kick a black hole, you must bend the universe with incredible force, snapping it like a whip. It is a violent, beautiful act of physics, a demonstration of the strength of the fundamental laws. It is the universe flexing its muscles, showing us what it is capable of. And the result is the silent, wandering predator, the ghost in the machine. As we drift further into this realization, the galaxy feels less like a home and more like a wilderness. It is a place of wild things, of untamed forces that roam beyond the light of the fires. We are the huddled travelers, gathering around our star for warmth, looking out into the dark. We see the eyes of the wolves reflecting the firelight, the brief flashes of the accretion flares. We know they are there, circling, waiting, living their secret lives in the cold. And we wonder what other secrets the darkness holds, what other monsters are hidden in the population. We are left with the image of the galaxy as a swarm, a hive of activity that is mostly invisible. The stars are just the glowing tips of the structure, the bioluminescence on the dark ocean. Beneath the surface, the deep currents carry the heavy giants, the rogue black holes on their lonely paths. They are the ballast of the universe, the weight that keeps the ship steady in the cosmic storm. We respect them from a distance, these silent wanderers, these recoiling kings. We watch them go, drifting into the endless night, carrying their mysteries with them. And as they drift, they carry the memory of the merger, the imprint of the collision that set them free. They are the children of a violent union, destined to walk alone because of the sins of their parents. It is a tragic, poetic destiny to be born of fire and then cast into the ice. But they do not complain, they do not slow down, they only move forward. They surrender to the kick, to the momentum, to the endless, hypnotic drift. They are the perfect travelers, the eternal nomads of the relativistic void. But now, our journey shifts from the history of the kick to the future of our vision. We have spoken of the hidden population as invisible ghosts, detectable only by chance. But what if we could turn on the lights? What if we could see the ripples they make before they strike? The next generation of eyes is opening, tools designed to pierce the veil of the dark. We are building machines that will listen to the whispers of gravity itself. The invisible universe is singing a song of destruction that our eyes are too limited to see, a melody composed of high-energy light. We walk through the world, seeing only the narrow band of the rainbow, unaware of the screaming colors that exist beyond the violet. But the rogue black holes do not hide in the visible spectrum, for they are creatures of the extreme, living in the violent wavelengths. When they feed, they emit a signature that burns through the galaxy in X-rays, ultraviolet light, and the long waves of radio. It is a multi-wavelength chorus, a triad of signals that announces the presence of the predator to anyone with the ears to listen. We have built machines to hear this music, great metal dishes and orbiting telescopes that translate the invisible fire into digital sound. They tell us that the silence of the void is actually loud with the echoes of tidal disruption events happening in the dark. The X-rays are the first breathless scream of the material as it approaches the event horizon, heated to temperatures that defy our imagination. They come from the innermost region of the accretion disk, the place where gravity is dragging the gas down into the throat. It is the hottest part of the meal, the moment just before the matter disappears forever from the observable universe into the shadow. To see an X-ray flare is to look directly at the edge of the cliff, to watch the water falling over the waterfall. The ultraviolet light comes from slightly further out, from the swirling debris that is still waiting for its turn to fall in. It paints a picture of the wider scene, the messy table manners of a monster that scatters crumbs of light into the void. And then there are the radio waves, the low, rhythmic thrumming that comes from the jets of particles shooting out at light speed. These jets are the exhaust of the engine, beams of energy that drill through the interstellar gas and create shock waves in the dark. The radio signal can last for years, a lingering afterimage of the event that fades much slower than the initial flash of heat. It is a persistent ghost, a marker that says, something violent happened here, long after the visible light has dimmed to black. By combining these three signatures, we can reconstruct the crime scene in 3 dimensions, mapping the flow of the blood. We can separate the true rogue black holes from the imposters, the ordinary variable stars that merely flicker in the visible light. The signal we detected from the AT2024 TVD event was unique, a fast-evolving transient that changed more rapidly than anything we had seen before. Most supernovae take weeks or months to reach their peak brightness, brightening slowly as the explosion expands into the surrounding space. But this event shot up in brightness and then plummeted, a spike of energy that happened on a timescale of mere days. It tells us that the object responsible was compact, small enough to change its output in the blink of a cosmic eye. It confirms that we are dealing with a black hole, an object where mass is compressed into a singular point of zero volume. The speed of the evolution is the ticking of a clock, measuring the time it takes for light to cross the disk. Within this fast-evolving signal, we found a specific fingerprint that revealed the geometry of the destruction, a pattern known as double-peaked emission. When we look at the spectrum of the light, we see not one broad bump, but 2 distinct mountains of intensity. This shape is the signature of a rotating disk, where one side is spinning towards us and the other is spinning away. The light from the approaching side is pushed to higher energies, while the receding side is stretched to lower, redder wavelengths. It is the Doppler effect on a galactic scale, the same shift that changes the pitch of a passing ambulance siren. But here, the siren is a stream of plasma moving at a significant fraction of the speed of light, screaming in silence. The presence of the double peaks tells us that we are looking at a coherent structure, a stable disk that formed from the debris. It implies that the star was not just smashed, but was methodically unraveled and organized into a ring around the predator. The debris streams collided with themselves, circularizing the orbit and settling into a plane that aligned with the black hole's spin. It is a rare glimpse into the fluid dynamics of extreme gravity, a confirmation that our models of accretion are correct. The fact that this structure formed and evolved so quickly suggests that the black hole is not a supermassive giant. It points to something smaller, something that can consume a meal and clean the plate in a surprisingly short amount of time. This leads us to the most elusive characters in this cosmic story, the mysterious class of objects known as intermediate mass black holes. For decades, astronomers have found the small black holes formed by dying stars and the supermassive giants in the centers of galaxies. But the middle ground, the objects between 100 and 100,000 solar masses, has been a barren desert of non-detection. These are the missing links, the seeds that should exist if the supermassive holes grew from smaller beginnings over cosmic time. They are the Goldilocks black holes, not too big and not too small, but perfectly hidden in the darkness. the rogue population is likely teeming with them, a swarm of middleweight wanderers that have escaped detection until now. We believe that many of these intermediate mass candidates are the cores of dwarf galaxies that were stripped apart by larger neighbors. When a small galaxy falls into a large one, like the Milky Way, its stars are peeled away by the tidal forces. They are scattered into the halo, joining the vast cloud of debris that surrounds the spiral disk like a swarm of bees. But the dense, compact core of the dwarf galaxy, containing its central black hole, is tough enough to survive. It becomes a naked singularity, a rogue nucleus wandering through the halo without its protective cloak of stars. It is a relic of a dead galaxy, a ghost heart beating in the cold void of the conqueror. These stripped cores are perfect candidates for the wandering predators we are hunting, the silent killers in the galactic suburbs. They are heavy enough to disrupt a star, but small enough to produce the fast-evolving signals we are seeing. They are the hidden immigrants of the galaxy, the foreign objects that have been absorbed but never truly integrated. There could be hundreds of them in the Milky Way alone, passing through the disk on tilted, eccentric orbits. They are the archaeological evidence of our galaxy's violent past, the undigested remains of the meals it has eaten. To find one is to find a fossil from the early universe, a piece of history frozen in gravitational amber. The hunt for these intermediate mass rogues is a game of sifting through the noise, looking for the needle in the haystack. The sky is full of things that flash and fade, from flaring stars to distant supernovae exploding in other galaxies. We have to filter out millions of false alarms to find the one true signal of a tidal disruption event. We look for the specific color combination, the blue-white heat of the accretion disk without the red of a cooling star. We look for the X-rays that shouldn't be there, the radio waves that appear out of nowhere in the empty sky. It is a task that requires patience and precision, a digital panning for gold in the rushing river of data. When we do find a candidate, like the event AT 2024 TVD, it feels like uncovering a secret that the universe wanted to keep. The data from the double-peaked emission allows us to weigh the black hole, to place it on the scale. If the mass comes back as 10,000 suns, we know we have found one of the elusive middle children. It validates the theory that the universe is filled with a continuous spectrum of black hole sizes, not just two extremes. It fills in the gap in our family photo of the cosmos, showing us the adolescence of the monsters. It suggests that supermassive black holes are just intermediate ones that got lucky, that found enough food to grow. The radio signature of these events is particularly haunting because it tells us about the energy that is escaping the trap. Not everything that falls towards a black hole is eaten. Some of it is redirected by magnetic fields and flung out. The jets are like fountains of energy, focused beams that can travel for thousands of light years into the intergalactic medium. When a rogue black hole turns on its jets, it paints a line across the sky in radio waves. It is drawing a map of its magnetic soul, a diagram of the forces that twist and turn near the event horizon. We listen to the static hiss of these jets, deciphering the message of power and efficiency they carry. The ultraviolet light, on the other hand, is the glow of the friction, the heat of the traffic jam in the disk. As the gas spirals in, it rubs against itself, trading momentum and generating a fierce thermal glow. It is the same physics that warms your hands when you rub them together, but scaled up to the energy of a star. This UV light is easily blocked by dust, so we can only see it if the view is clear. It means that many events are hidden from us, shrouded in the dusty curtains of the galactic disk. We are only seeing the ones that happen in the clear windows, the lucky breaks in the clouds. The fast evolution of the signal is a reminder of how small these objects really are in physical size, despite their mass. An intermediate mass black hole might be no larger than the Earth, yet it contains the mass of 10,000 suns. The accretion disk is compact, a tight knot of fury that spins frantically around the tiny dark center. Light can cross the entire system in seconds, allowing the brightness to flicker and change with incredible speed. It creates a sense of nervous energy, a stuttering light that speaks of unstable orbits and chaotic flow. It is not the slow, steady burn of a star, but the erratic sputtering of a candle in the wind. We must also consider the possibility that some of these rogues are not from stripped galaxies, but formed directly in clusters. In the dense environment of a globular cluster, stars interact constantly, sinking to the center and merging. Runaway collisions can build up a massive object in the core, a seed that grows by eating its neighbors. If this object is then kicked out by a gravitational recoil, it becomes a free-floating intermediate black hole. It leaves the cluster behind, a solitary traveler emerging from the crowded city to roam the empty plains. These cluster-born rogues would have no stars around them at all, making them the darkest of the dark. The detection of the double-peaked lines is a triumph of spectroscopy, the science of splitting light into its component colors. We take the white light of the flare and pass it through a prism, spreading it out into a rainbow. Hidden in that rainbow are the dark gaps and bright lines that tell us what elements are present. We see the hydrogen and helium of the shredded star, but shifted and broadened by the speed. The width of the lines tells us how fast the gas is moving, which in turn tells us the gravity it feels. It is a way of weighing the invisible by measuring the motion of the visible, a cosmic scale. The intermediate mass candidates are the most terrifying of the rogues because they are the most numerous of the heavyweights. There could be thousands of them for every supermassive giant, a hidden army waiting in the halo. They are large enough to swallow a planet whole without disrupting it first, a clean and silent consumption. If one were to pass through the solar system, we would not see it until the orbits of the planets began to skew. The first sign would be a subtle anomaly in the motion of Neptune or Mars, a drift that cannot be explained. By the time we realized what was happening, the gravitational grip would already be upon us. But we must remember that space is vast, and the probability of such an encounter is comfortingly low. These objects are spread out over cubic millions of light years, diluting their danger in the immense volume of the void. They are lonely hunters, separated by gulfs of emptiness that even light takes millennia to cross. The collisions are rare, the moments of contact few and far between in the lifespan of the galaxy. We are safe in our statistical isolation, protected by the sheer unlikelihood of 2 points intersecting in the deep. Yet the existence of the population adds a texture of danger to the night sky. The fast-evolving transients are teaching us that the universe operates on human timescales as well as cosmic ones. We are used to thinking of astronomy as the study of things that change over billions of years. But a tidal disruption event happens in real time, unfolding over weeks and months. A story we can follow from start to finish. It makes the cosmos feel more alive, more immediate, a place of action rather than just a static painting. We can wake up one morning to find a new light in the sky, and by next year, it is gone. It brings the drama of the high-energy universe down to the rhythm of our own short lives. The radio signals we detect often show signs of synchrotron radiation, a specific type of emission caused by electrons spiraling in magnetic fields. It tells us that the black hole is not just a vacuum cleaner, but a particle accelerator. It boosts matter to relativistic speeds, creating conditions that we can never replicate in our laboratories on Earth. We are watching physics at the limit, observing how nature behaves when the energy dial is turned to the maximum. The rogue black hole is a natural laboratory, a place where the equations of Einstein are tested to the breaking point. The intermediate mass black holes may also be the key to understanding how the supermassive ones formed in the first place. They are the building blocks, the bricks that merge together to build the skyscrapers in the galactic centers. By counting them and measuring their masses, we are taking a census of the construction materials of the universe. We are learning how the galaxies were assembled, brick by dark brick, over the eons of cosmic time. The rogue wanderers are the leftover bricks, the ones that were dropped and forgotten in the grass. As we stare at the double-peaked emission lines on our computer screens, we are looking at the signature of a death spiral. The gas that emits that light is doomed, trapped in a one-way journey down the drain of space-time. It is singing its final song, a high-pitched scream of photons that escapes just before the end. We are the witnesses to its last moments, the audience for its final performance on the galactic stage. There is a solemn responsibility in that observation, a duty to record the event and understand its meaning. We owe it to the star to remember its end, to learn from the light it gave us. The ultraviolet signature is often the first to fade, blocked by cooling gas or simply exhausting its energy source. The X-rays might linger longer, coming from the hot inner edge that remains active for a while. The radio waves can persist for decades, a slowly fading echo of the initial scream. This sequence of fading colors is the timeline of the catastrophe, a clock that counts down the aftermath. We watch the light curves dip and flatten, tracking the return of the silence to that region of space. The monster goes back to sleep, wiping its mouth of the stardust, becoming invisible once again. The concept of a candidate is important in science. It means we are not yet 100% certain, but the evidence is strong. We have ruled out the other possibilities, the supernova and the variable stars, leaving only the rogue black hole. But science is a process of constant verification, of checking and rechecking the data. We wait for more events, for more examples of the fast evolving double peaks to confirm our hypothesis. Each new discovery strengthens the case, turning the candidate into a confirmed member of the hidden population. We are building a catalogue of ghosts, a registry of the unseen residents of the Milky Way. The silence that follows the event is heavier than the silence that preceded it. For now, we know what is there. The empty patch of sky is no longer empty in our minds. It is occupied by a dormant power. We can sense the presence of the black hole, lurking in the data, hiding behind the veil of the optical dark. It has shown its face once, and that is enough to burn its image into our understanding of the map. We mark the coordinates with a warning flag, a note that says, "Here there be monsters." We drift through the data streams, letting the numbers wash over us like the code of the Matrix. We see the spikes and the dips, the jagged lines that represent the chaos of the accretion flow. To the untrained eye, it looks like noise, like the static on an old television screen. But to the astronomer, it is a narrative, a story written in the language of frequency and intensity. It tells of a star that lived for billions of years, only to be torn apart in a few weeks. It tells of a black hole that traveled for eons to find this one specific meal. The double peaks are like the eyes of the beast, staring back at us from the graph paper. They remind us that the universe is not just a collection of points, but a collection of structures, of geometries. The rotation of the disk is a memory of the star's orbital motion, preserved in the flow of the gas. Angular momentum is conserved, meaning the spin of the victim becomes the spin of the death shroud. Nothing is lost, only transformed, converted from the order of a sphere to the chaos of a disk. The rogue black hole is an agent of entropy, increasing the disorder of the universe one star at a time. We are coming to realize that the intermediate mass black holes are not rare oddities, but a fundamental component of the cosmos. They might be as common as the stars themselves in certain regions, a dark matter of a different kind. They challenge our desire for categorization, for clear lines between the small and the large. Nature loves a continuum, a smooth gradient of sizes and masses that defies our boxes. The rogues are the bridge, the connection between the stellar and the galactic, the middle way. As the radio waves from AT to 024 TVD continue to wash over our planet, faint and whisper thin, we listen with renewed intent. We are tuning our ears to the frequency of the hidden, adjusting our dials to catch the next scream. The universe is a noisy place if you know how to listen, a cacophony of birth and death. The rogue black holes add a bass note to the symphony, a deep, resonant hum of gravity. We are only just beginning to hear the melody, to pick out the individual instruments in the dark orchestra. But hearing the song is only the first step. We want to see the musicians, to map the entire ensemble. We are limited by our current technology, by the sensitivity of our metal ears and glass eyes. We catch only the brightest, the loudest, the most violent events that break the threshold of detection. The vast majority of the rogue population remains silent, slipping through the net of our surveys. To find them, to truly understand the scale of the threat, we need better tools. We need eyes that can scan the entire sky every night, eyes that never blink. We stand on the precipice of a new era of discovery, a time when the invisible will become visible. The machines we are building now are not just improvements, they are revolutions. They will open the floodgates of data, drowning us in a sea of transients and anomalies. We will find not just one AT2024 TVD, but thousands, a rain of tidal disruption events falling on our screens. The hidden population is about to be revealed, the curtain pulled back on the dark stage. We are preparing ourselves for the shock of the crowd, for the realization that the room is full. The light from these future discoveries is already on its way, traveling through the void towards our mirrors. It is carrying the secrets of the rogue black holes, the answers to our questions about their origins and numbers. We are like watchers on the wall, waiting for the signal fires to be lit in the distance. The darkness is deep, but the sparks are coming. promising to illuminate the shadows. We wait with a patience born of wonder, knowing that the universe always rewards those who keep their eyes open. And as we wait, we drift closer to the edge of what is possible, to the limit of our imagination. We begin to dream of a map that shows every black hole, every wanderer, every ghost. A map where the dark is filled with markers, where the invisible is laid bare. It is a dream of total knowledge, of seeing the universe as it truly is, in all its terrible glory. But to get there, we must first build the eyes that can handle the truth. We must construct the observatories of the future. We stand on the threshold of a new age of vision, where the darkness is about to lose its ancient ability to hide the monsters. For generations, we have stared at the static pictures of the sky, believing that the universe is a place of slow and majestic permanence. But we are building a machine that will turn those pictures into a movie, revealing the restless, shifting nature of the cosmic night. On a high, dry peak in the Chilean Andes, the Vera Rubin Observatory is preparing to open its massive, unblinking eye to the heavens. It is a sentinel of glass and steel designed to scan the entire southern sky every few nights, capturing everything that moves or changes. It will not just look at the stars, it will watch them, recording the subtle flickering that betrays the presence of the hidden wanderers. When this great eye opens, it will flood our world with alerts, signaling thousands of tidal disruption events that were previously invisible. The sheer volume of data will wash over us like a tide, transforming our understanding of how crowded the galactic suburbs truly are. We will see the flares of dying stars popping off like flashbulbs in a stadium, illuminating the dark corners of the universe. It will be a realization that the silence we thought we knew was actually a cacophony of distant screams that we were too deaf to hear. The Vera Rubin Observatory will show us the transient universe, the things that exist for only a moment before vanishing back into the shadow. It will populate the empty maps with thousands of red dots, each one marking the location of a rogue black hole that has fed. We will no longer be able to pretend that the void is empty, for the evidence will be etched in digital light. But light is not the only messenger that travels through the void, for gravity itself carries the heavy news of the wandering giants. We are preparing to launch a constellation of satellites known as LISA, a trio of golden spacecraft that will float in the quiet dark. They will fire lasers across millions of kilometers of emptiness, measuring the distance between them with a precision that defies the human mind. They are designed to listen for the ripples in space-time, the gravitational waves that wash through the galaxy like swells in the ocean. When a rogue black hole spirals into another object, or when it is kicked by a merger, it rings the fabric of space. LISA will hear these rings, detecting the invisible collisions that happen in the dark, even when there is no light to see. This is the future of our perception, a sensory expansion that allows us to feel the trembling of the universe's underlying structure. We will hear the recoil kicks as they happen, sensing the moment a supermassive black hole is ejected from its home galaxy. We will detect the intermediate mass wanderers as they sink through the halos of galaxies, dragging the heavy curtain of space-time with them. It will be like putting a stethoscope to the chest of the cosmos and hearing the deep, rhythmic beating of its gravitational heart. The silence will be replaced by a symphony of rumbles and chirps. the language of massive objects moving through the dark. We will learn to distinguish the song of a binary merger from the solitary hum of a rogue on the run. The implications of these future detections are profound, forcing us to confront the reality of the hidden population that surrounds us. We will realize that the rogue black holes are not rare anomalies, but a standard feature of the galactic life cycle. They are the dust bunnies under the cosmic bed, the inevitable result of the messy, chaotic process of galaxy formation. Every merger leaves a few things behind. Every collision ejects a few pieces, and over billions of years, the numbers add up. The galaxy is a graveyard of these lost objects, a repository for the things that did not fit in the center. To understand the galaxy, we must understand the rogues, for they carry the history of the violence that built the spiral arms. We turn our gaze back to our own home, to the Milky Way, with a new sense of curiosity and a touch of primal fear. How many of these silent predators are roaming the spaces between the stars of our own familiar night sky? The statistical models suggest that there could be hundreds, perhaps thousands, of rogue black holes drifting through the halo of our galaxy. They are the invisible neighbors, the ones who live in the houses with the lights turned off, never making a sound. They might be passing through the Oort cloud, dislodging comets with their gravity, sending them falling toward the inner solar system. Or they might be far out in the deep vacuum, light years from the nearest star, floating in a solitude we cannot conceive. The thought is not meant to terrify, but to expand the horizon of our imagination, to fill the emptiness with potential and mystery. We are not alone in the dark. We are surrounded by heavy, silent things that have their own paths and their own destinies. The rogue black hole is a fellow traveler, a citizen of the galaxy just like the sun and the earth. It follows the same laws of physics, obeys the same gravity, and drifts through the same endless river of time. It is a part of the family, even if it is the estranged cousin that wanders the world without a home. There is a kinship in that wandering, a recognition that we are all just drifting through the void. As we map the positions of these wanderers with our new eyes, the fear will slowly transform into a deep, respectful awe. We will see the galaxy not as a safe harbor, but as a wild ocean, teeming with life and danger and beauty. The rogue black holes will become the whales of this ocean, the leviathans that swim in the deep water where the light does not reach. We will track their migrations, predicting where they will go next, turning the unknown into the known. We will learn to navigate the currents of the dark, steering our future ships around the gravity wells of the hidden giants. The map of the Milky Way will become complete, a chart that includes both the light and the shadow. The mystery of the how many will eventually be solved, replaced by a precise census of the dark population. We will know their masses, their spins, and the trajectories that carry them through the spiral arms and the halo. We will know which ones were born in the collapse of the first stars, and which ones were kicked out of merging galaxies. We will read their histories in the gravitational waves they emit, unraveling the story of their exile from the center. But even with all the data in the world, the feeling will remain, the sense of the heavy silence. The numbers on a screen can never capture the visceral reality of a billion suns compressed into a point of darkness. We drift now toward the end of our journey, carrying the weight of this new knowledge into the quiet spaces of our mind. We have traveled from the violent centers of galaxies to the lonely outskirts, where the stars are few and far between. We have witnessed the shredding of suns, the spaghettification of worlds, and the blinding flare of the accretion disk. We have felt the recoil kick that sends a king into exile, and we have listened to the radio song of the jets. We have seen the universe as it truly is, dynamic, violent, filled with monsters, and yet possessing a terrible, silent beauty. And through it all, we have been safe, watching the drama unfold from the comfort of our own distant shore. The rogue black holes will continue their journey long after we have closed our eyes, moving through the dark for eternity. They are the ultimate survivors, the things that will endure when the stars have all burned out and faded to cold ash. In the far future of the universe, when the lights have gone out, the black holes will be the only things left. They will drift through the absolute zero of the end times, perhaps merging with one another in the final dance. It is a somber thought, but also a peaceful one, a promise that the structure of the universe endures. Gravity never sleeps, never fades, never stops holding the pieces of the cosmos together in the dark. But for us, in this moment, the universe is still bright, still warm, still filled with the comfort of the stars. The rogue black holes are far away, hidden in the deep water, their hunger sated for the time being. We can look up at the night sky and see only the beauty, the constellations that have guided us for thousands of years. The knowledge of the shadows does not diminish the light. It only gives it depth, a background against which to shine. The stars are precious because they are fragile, because they exist in a universe that can unmake them. We cherish the light more because we know the darkness that surrounds it, the silence that waits at the edge. We are all wanderers in a sense, drifting on a small planet through a vast and indifferent galaxy. We are moving at thousands of kilometers per hour, spinning around a star that is spinning around the galactic core. We are not stationary. We are travelers, just like the rogue black holes, caught in the great flow of gravity. We share the road with them, passing in the night, separated by the safety of the immense distances. There is a solidarity in the motion, a shared participation in the grand, slow rotation of the Milky Way. We are all part of the same system, the same giant, beautiful, terrifying machine that turns in the silence. The fear of the unknown is a natural instinct, but here, in the safety of the mind, we can let it go. We can release the anxiety of the predator and replace it with the acceptance of the vastness. The universe is too big to be frightened of, too old to be worried about the fleeting moments of a human life. We can rest in the knowledge that the forces of nature are in balance, that the chaos is part of the order. The rogue black hole is not a villain. It is a force of nature, as natural as the wind or the tide. It has its place in the dark, just as we have our place in the light. As we prepare to leave the realm of the high-energy universe, we let the images of destruction fade into a soft blur. The X-rays and the ultraviolet beams soften into a gentle glow, like the embers of a dying fire. The radio jets quiet down to a whisper, a faint static that sounds like the ocean in a seashell. The accretion disks dissolve into mist, returning the matter to the quiet drift of the interstellar clouds. The monsters retire to their dens, sinking back into the invisibility that is their natural state. The stage is cleared, the drama is finished, and only the peaceful, empty backdrop remains. We are floating now in the deep, velvet silence of the space between the stars. far from any gravity well. The pressure of the world has lifted, replaced by the weightlessness of the void, a suspension in the cool dark. There is no up or down here, no forward or backward, only the endless, comforting drift of the mind. The stars are distant points of light, steady and unblinking, watching over us like silent guardians. The rogue black holes are sleeping giants, far removed from our path, dreaming their own dark dreams in the deep. Everything is still, everything is quiet, everything is exactly where it is meant to be. The universe is a lullaby sung by gravity, a slow, rhythmic rocking that has continued for billions of years. We can feel that rhythm now, a gentle pulse that slows the beating of the heart, the breathing of the lungs. It is the rhythm of the orbits, the slow turning of the galaxies, the expansion of the great void. It is a movement so slow, it feels like stillness, a progression so vast, it feels like eternity. We are part of that rhythm, synced to the heartbeat of the cosmos, drifting in perfect harmony. There is no need to struggle, no need to think, only the need to surrender to the flow. Imagine yourself as a particle of light, traveling through the emptiness for 1,000,000 years without hitting anything. You are free, unburdened, moving through the crystal clarity of the vacuum without resistance or friction. You pass galaxies that look like spinning wheels of milk, distant and beautiful in the silence. You pass nebulae that glow with the soft colors of a bruised peach, clouds of gas waiting to be born. You are a witness to the peace of the universe, the vast, empty spaces where nothing ever happens. This is the true nature of the cosmos, not the violence of the black hole, but the peace of the void. The mind begins to slow down, matching the pace of the luxuriously slow narration, heavy with sleep. The thoughts that crowded the day are left behind, drifting away like dust motes in a sunbeam. There is only the feeling of the dark, the cool, protective embrace of the night that wraps around you. The darkness is not empty. It is a blanket, a soft, heavy comforter that shields you from the light. It is a place of rest, a sanctuary where the consciousness can dissolve into the dream. The rogue black holes are the anchors of this dark, holding the blanket down, keeping it secure. We let go of the need to understand, the need to know how many, the need to map the hidden population. It does not matter now. The numbers and the data are fading into the background noise. What matters is the feeling of safety, the knowledge that the distances are too great to cross. You are safe here, floating in your own private orbit, protected by the vastness of the space around you. The monsters are merely stories, shadows on the wall that fade when the eyes close. The reality is the bed, the pillow, the slow rise and fall of the chest. The stars are dimming now, turning down the lights for the night, one by one, millions of them fading out. The galaxy is going to sleep, the great spiral arms slowing their rotation, settling into a dormant state. The energy of the universe is winding down, relaxing into a state of low entropy, a state of perfect rest. We are winding down with it, our energy dissipating into the soft, welcoming absorbent of the sleep. The tension leaves the muscles, the weight leaves the bones, and we become light as air. We are drifting on the surface of a dark lake, the water perfectly still, reflecting the nothingness above. There is a comfort in the idea of the rogue, the solitary traveler that needs nothing and no one. We can borrow that solitude for a moment, finding peace in the quiet center of our own being. We are alone in the best possible way, disconnected from the noise, Floating in the silent sea of the subconscious, the black hole absorbs everything, even the noise of the mind, pulling it into the singularity of sleep. Let the gravity pull you down, deeper and deeper, into the heavy, warm center of the night. It is a gentle pull, a soft invitation to leave the waking world behind. The eyes are heavy, too heavy to open, sealed by the gentle pressure of the cosmic dust. The breathing is slow and shallow, a rhythmic tide that mimics the waves of the gravitational ocean. The body is asleep, the mind is drifting, floating away from the shore of consciousness. The documentary is over, the story is told, the science is forgotten, leaving only the sound of the voice. And soon, even the voice will fade, leaving only the silence, the beautiful, perfect silence of the deep. The rogue black holes are far away, guarding the edges of the dream, keeping the nightmare at bay. You are drifting through the halo of sleep, passing the stars of your own dreams, moving into the unknown. It is a journey without a destination, a travel without movement, a flight without wings. The universe is holding you, carrying you, protecting you in its vast, indifferent, loving arms. You are stardust returning to the dark, energy returning to the vacuum, a consciousness returning to the source. Sleep is the little death, the practice for the eternal drift, and it is sweet and heavy. Let go of the last thread, the last thought, and sink into the velvet soft. The darkness is complete now, a warm ocean that covers everything, silencing the questions and the fears. There is nothing left to see, nothing left to hear, nothing left to do but drift. The rogue black holes are silent, the stars are silent, the galaxy is silent, and you are silent. Good night to the wanderers, good night to the predators, good night to the shredded stars, good night to the observers, good night to the listeners, good night to the endless, empty void. Good night, traveler, good night.